All right, hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to the Three Wide Podcast, episode 4. Not a whole lot to talk about this week. Not much
Just a bunch of
happened.
domination.
Yeah, not much happened. Gregson and Larson dominated their races. Truck race was kind of interesting.
Truck race was decent. Truck race was decent.
I thought it was all right.
So
I definitely like the racing at Miami.
yeah, so I guess let's just start off with the truck race. I don't think there's been a truck race since we started this podcast. Oh no, there was Talladega. There was Dega.
Yeah, it was Dega. That was it.
Cool.
Oh yeah, week 1. But Ty Majeski wins. Dude is on fire right now.
That's about time.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, he was projected to do really, really well, and I think they threw him in. Roush threw him in an Xfinity
In
car
that
back.
cursed 60 car. It was Ty Majeski,
Chase
Austin
Briscoe and
Cindric
Austin
and Chase
Cindric.
Briscoe, and they wrecked in like 24 races that year.
Oh man.
And promptly shut down the team.
Yep.
But no, yeah, Ty is.
Um,
If you watch Ty Majeski race a late model, you would know how insanely talented he is.
It's nice to see guys like that. Him and Josh Berry, Justin Allgaier, those guys kind of get rewarded with those top rides.
Yeah.
And really nice to see, those three guys in particular this year have really risen up to the occasion. So really nice to see those guys, succeeding at their respective levels.
Obviously, you have Ty Majeski making the final 4. Won 2 out of the 3 races this round. And then Chandler Smith and Zane Smith both make it. So, just great years for those two. And then Ben Rhodes was the last driver in. He, racing around his teammates there at the end. Stuart Friesen wasn't too happy about it. To be fair,
He wasn't the only one that wasn't.
Crafton was
Crafton was annoyed, man.
Crafton was giving Ben Rhodes hell. Even Eckes was giving him hell too. Like, I remember at one point, like, Ben Rhodes tried to get by Eckes, and Eckes threw a block on him, and then Crafton jumped to his inside. And I'm like, are they about to kick their teammate out of the playoffs? But Ben Rhodes was faster than them, so he got by them.
Yeah.
It's not like they rolled over and let him by. He was faster than them. Once he got by them, he pulled away.
I'm sure Crafton was not pleased with probably being told to back it down.
Yeah.
You wonder how much longer he's going to race in that series, considering
they were
it's just a
telling
bunch
him
of young
too. I don't
guns.
think he was listening.
No.
Every time I looked, they were side by side, and I'm like, wow, he's really about to pass his teammate and knock him out.
Good. Honestly, good for him, because I hate that scenario where the teammate has to let the other guy go because of playoff implications. It's like, be a faster truck, be better than him, earn it.
So yeah, like I said, Ty Majeski won the race. So who do you guys think is your truck champion?
Oh man,
It could be literally any of the 4.
Well, we know Ben Rhodes. He won the race last year, right? No. He didn't win the race last year. He just won the championship. It was Corey.
Chandler Smith actually won the race last year.
Oh, Chandler Smith did win it last year.
Ben Rhodes was flying last year, though.
He was.
He was downshifting in the corner when nobody else was, and he was flying, dropping it down in the 3rd gear.
It's kind of interesting. It came down to Chandler Smith, Sheldon Creed, Ben Rhodes, and Zane Smith last year. 3 of those 4 are going to be fighting for the championship this weekend. So
yeah, Zane Smith, can he rack up another 2nd place finish in truck standings? He's done that every year he's racing trucks.
Yeah,
he's finished 2nd in points. He is so good.
You want to see? I'm sure you guys. I don't know if you guys are the majority of me, but I really want to see Zane Smith win. I don't know if he will, but I would really like to see him win.
I love Zane Smith.
Heck of a race car driver. If you want a good replacement for Michael McDowell, put Zane Smith in that
Ford
34 car.
Got a steal with Zane Smith.
Zane Smith is also. I want to say he's leading in what would be traditional points too. So it'd be kind of cool to see.
Yeah.
But he had an insane start to the year, but he's kind of cooled off during the playoffs.
A little bit.
Chandler Smith has just been solid all year. going to college racing in the
Mm-hmm.
Xfinity Series next year. It'd be cool to see him win. And then you got Ben Rhodes, kind of the next truck lifer, I'd assume.
Yeah, I
He's
don't
only
see.
like-
I think he's probably at the age.
He's only like 26, I think. He's not that old. He's
I
not.
didn't know he was only 26.
I
I
don't.
thought he'd
I
been
don't
around
know
a
if
lot
it's
longer than
26.
that.
Oh yeah, he started racing at 18, I think. Like in trucks.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of
Well,
it's
that's
like if Custer. It's like if Custer had stayed in the Truck Series. They both started, I think, around the same time.
Oh, I
Yeah, I
lied. He's
think
not
so,
26.
man.
He's 25. Ben Rhodes is 25.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
same. I think it's the same age as Custer. Then they both
Yeah.
started racing in that series around the same exact time.
Ben Rhodes made a Cup start last year. I forgot
Yeah, who
about
was that?
Oh
for?
yeah, it was Sonoma, right?
Yeah, he was subbing for. No, I don't even know if he was subbing.
Haley, I think,
He might have been.
because I think Haley had COVID.
Yeah, it's not
I know Zane Smith drove the Call League 11 one of those races too.
Zane Smith, yeah. Zane Smith also drove the RFK 7 this year. But, he was impressive as shit.
Yeah, he did.
I honestly
He's like
don't
top
know.
20.
I honestly don't know who's going to win the truck championship, though. Like I said, it could be any four of them, and I wouldn't be surprised. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I guess top two, I would love for either Zane Smith or Tommy Jessica. Because Zane Smith has been knocking on the door literally since his rookie year. It'd be nice to see him break through. I think he's back in the 38 truck next year.
Yeah, he's like he
Yeah,
signed a
yeah.
really big development deal with Front Row, so he's going to run Cup, Xfinity, and the full truck schedule. Kind of get a taste of everything.
So, yeah. I know he's done a couple starts in Xfinity with JRM and A car.
Mm-hmm.
But, back when the A car was just, like, there. And then Ty Majeski, it would be awesome to see him win the championship.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be the equivalent of, like, Josh Berry winning. Just a late model guy who just grinded it out.
Yeah. Could happen. Good.
Me being a KBM guy, I do want to see Chandler get it, but I'd be fine with any of the three except Rhodes. I just
Yeah.
feel like Rhodes hasn't had the season the other three have. And I get Majeski was winless until the playoffs, but Majeski was like fifth in points a long point of the season, where Rhodes really at the start of the year was kind of meh, and then during the summer months was just kind of a 6th to 12th place truck, right around Nemechek. So it would just, obviously if he wins it, he wins it, but I think I would definitely feel better about the other three getting it.
Yeah. So, moving on to the Xfinity race. Their playoff field is not set. They still have one more race to go. But, two drivers are locked in. Josh Berry, Noah Gragson. Noah Gragson, dominated once again for his 8th win of the year. I've bought every autograph.
Was
I got
nice to see
Gragson,
him.
So that's fun.
Jeez.
I do the arcs. I don't do the elites like Elliot, but yeah, it's fun.
I think it was you that was saying that he needs to get that figured out, though, why he keeps failing. I think we were talking a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's nice to see. Obviously, I'm not the world's biggest Noah Gragson fan. It was very nice to see him finally get Miami. He's been so close there. I mean, it slipped through his fingertips 3 consecutive races there, and you almost felt like that place owed him one.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah.
refreshing to see him finish it off.
Yeah, dude took his nuts off, threw him on the dash, as he says. I love Noah Gragson. I think his personality is amazing, and it's gonna.
Yeah, it's definitely what the sport needs. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna
definitely.
say he is. I'm not the world's biggest fan, but he's needed in the sport. We need someone like him.
Yeah.
And you can't say he's not a talented race car driver.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Not. Yeah.
he and Luke Lambert. Luke Lambert has helped him a lot with keeping his cool during all that stuff. I think that's been a huge asset to him this year. Has been getting Luke Lambert the JRM.
So
Well, I think the greatest thing that could have happened to Noah Gragson was him making that stupid move where he turned what was it at Coda? Not Coda, sorry, Road America, Sage Graham. Yeah. And you got to believe Junior sat down with him and he was like, dude, you will not make it in the Cup Series even in this series if you don't get that figured out. Because that's really where you really started to see things change.
Because that's what it was, he was right to pay Karam back. Karam had hit him 3 times. The problem was he got so, I don't know if it was adrenaline or he just lost it, but he completely paid him back in the wrong spot. And that was the issue, was the way he did it and the where he did it. Yeah, and I think that was...
You could have just run him off the track and the heavy braking zone coming up there, and nobody would have batted an eye.
Yeah, it would have just been another that's road course racing type deal.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Gregson has just been on fire since the playoffs started. Won 5 races in the playoffs so far. And
jeez, I didn't even realize that was the number. Yeah.
Because he won 4 in a row.
4 in a row.
And then this one.
Yep.
And he could have won Vegas. He was running down Barry last week. But
didn't he finish? He could have won Talladega too if
yeah.
But I remember correctly, he was on the outside line leading.
I don't know. He's almost won every race in the playoffs, but he's my pick to win. Not much else happened. Trevor Bayne had his last start in the 18.
Man, he's really impressed me in that 18 car.
Someone should put him full time in the Xfinity Series next year because he's been solid.
Absolutely.
Do you think because Brandon Jones is moving over to JRM, they might put him in a full-time ride?
I hope so. I would love to see Trevor Bayne get a full-time ride in Xfinity. I'm a big Trevor Bayne.
Because I
don't see why not. I mean, he's got funding too.
He's got a little bit of funding.
Because who has JTR announced any of their Xfinity drivers for next year?
No, not one of them.
I don't think they have any.
I mean, I think I'm pretty.
If I had to guess,
Sammy Smith will probably get a ride.
If I had to guess, they'll either do 3 cars with Sammy Smith, John Hunter Nemechek, and Trevor Bayne, or they'll do 2 cars and split Smith and Bayne till Smith matures a little bit more.
No, I was thinking maybe 2 cars with a third, like all-star part-time type car, like they've done in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Which is usually the 54. But yeah, so he had his final race. Great race. Great year for Trevor Bayne coming back. Moving on to Martinsville next week. Like I said, you got 2 guys locked in. Two of the 4 JRM cars that are still in the fucking playoffs.
And Ty Gibbs is he's got a 39-point lead?
I think 30 points.
Almost locked in. And then you have Allmendinger and Allgaier battling for that final spot.
Yeah, Allmendinger up by 5.
I read somewhere that if Ty Gibbs finishes 26 with no stage points, regardless of what happens, he'll make the final 4.
Yeah, he's just got to finish, basically.
Which is not
wild if him and Allmendinger had terrible days, and then Mayer wins, and Allgaier has a great day, which I could see happening. That'd be nuts.
That is Martinsville.
Yeah. That's what
I have a bad feeling that race is going to turn into an absolute demolition derby.
It's a Martinsville Xfinity race for the final 4. Of course it's going to be a shit show.
Which is surprising because they haven't had a shit show in the Xfinity Series of Martinsville yet. Which surprised me because you'd think that would be
the end of the last Xfinity race turned into a bit of a shit show.
Yeah, with Mayer and Gibbs.
Well, not even that, just everyone was wrecking each other at the end of that race.
I think there was 3 or 4.
Josh Berry.
Yes.
Not it.
That's the car I have the nose off of, the one where Junior dumped him.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a funny race.
Oh man.
And then moving on to Cup in Miami. Kyle Larson, I don't know what they did to that car, but
I was just saying, you pretty much stop at Kyle Larson. That would have described the race.
Nobody was even in the same zip code as him all day long.
Yep.
couple things to talk about though. How about Ryan Blaney spinning coming off pit road and trapping half of the playoff drivers a lap down?
Yeah, NASCAR.
That's the second week in a row.
Then NASCAR fucked up. They had Elliott scored ahead of Logano, but gave Logano the free pass, which meant Elliott had to take the wave around to start behind the lap down cars. And he never recovered from that.
Yeah, I didn't understand that at all.
Me neither. They were like, Truex and Chastain are still on the lead lap. Logano gets the free pass. I'm like, oh, Elliott's between them. So if Logano's getting the free pass, he's on the lead lap. And then they're like, and Elliott took the wave around. I'm like, but he's ahead of Logano. And they had him score. It wasn't like it was like one lap and then they just changed it. Like, he was scored like that for like 11 laps. But yeah, then last pit stop, Truex and Larson coming down pit road. And Truex gets dumped by Larson. Definitely braked late. I don't think there was a shot in hell he was going to make his pit stall.
Not one bit.
Everybody said that.
Yeah. Oh, God. Thank you. Yeah, no, he said, even Truex after the race, it's really tough to see coming down pit road there. So
he said he just couldn't see it, and
no
hard feelings. And
no, they were definitely
Larson even apologized.
They were definitely pissed off at Larson. Don't give
Larson.
I
don't know if you watched Radioactive, but Larson said he's like, oh man, if that was my fault, tell the 19 I'm sorry. Like I didn't mean to do that. The last thing I want to do is hit someone like that, and so he. I don't know if there was anything Larson really could have done. I think it was, like you said, Truex just was lost.
Put it in perspective, I would say normally the drivers get into his pit stall. He's pulling in 4 to 5 pit stalls before he goes to his. He's already pulling.
Yeah.
Truex looked like he pulled with maybe 2 to 3 pit stalls left. It's like, dude, you're not going to make that.
He was never.
Yeah, there's no way. He just could. He said he couldn't see.
Someone on Instagram replied to my story, and I said, no way Truex makes that. And someone goes, the only reason he made it into his pit stall is because he got spun.
Yep.
Yeah, no, he got turned so sharply, he made it. Yeah.
But,
so people on
Larson dominated.
People on Facebook, I know this is off topic, are mad at Lionel for not putting Kurt Busch's Air Jordan Kansas win or Kimi Räikkönen's car in the newest Lionel Racing Authentics Wave, despite the fact that one of those cars is not even on a shipment report yet, and the other one is not due until like late December. So I just found that.
People are stupid. We can talk tomorrow.
Yeah.
I actually have a couple things I want to say about Lionel later. But they're not even that bad. Because I've never had a bad experience with Lionel yet, somehow. Despite how many diecasts I haven't had a bad experience yet. But yeah, so.
Knock on wood, man.
Yeah. Knock on this little cheap ass fucking particle board my desk is made out of. But what was it? So Larson, yeah, kicked the field's ass in his own words.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, locked himself into the Owners' Championship. 5 cars.
That'll be weird if he gets there.
5 cars in the Owners' Championship at Phoenix.
What?
Be interesting to see if I guess they said it's the first.
Because the 45 made the Owners' playoffs and the 12 didn't, so everything's been all fucked up. And then the 45 won in the playoffs to advance them to the next round of the Owners' playoffs, despite the fact that the 45 driver was not in it. So it messed the whole Owners' standings up. So the 5 is in the Owners' Championship right now.
Oh, God. Man, you know, that's just a great example of why the playoffs just need to go. Like, it should just be who's ever in the Final Four, whoever wins that, they win that. They also win the Owners' Championship. Like, it's just, you can't do both.
I know the team would much rather win the Owners' title than the Drivers' title. Because the Owners' title pays a lot more money.
Isn't it more money?
It's a lot more money. if you win the owners
Is it
championship.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
So I was sitting there, I'm like, what
3
if Elliott,
times.
what
And
if Elliott and Larson make it? Because it'd be way more beneficial to the team if Larson won the owners championship.
I guess that is true because I don't recall the last time that a driver. When was the last time that a driver raised up the big old check that they used to give out to the champion? They don't do that anymore, do they?
no, they don't even do that at the All-Star race, I noticed.
No, they still do it at the All-Star race.
Oh, I didn't see it with Blaney this year. Maybe I just missed it.
It's because they fucking air like a second of victory lane and then they leave.
That is
Oh,
true.
there's something we can talk about for a while.
Oh yeah.
Bring back Victory Lane interviews, NBC and
Oh,
Fox,
yeah.
whoever's going to take over next.
Listen,
God's sake.
there's a lot of things where I'm like, things aren't as bad as fans make them out to be. The coverage of the sport is not one of those things. It is
It is horrendous. Oh, man.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's so bad.
All right, you know what? We're done with Miami. Might as well talk about it. The coverage of the sport fucking sucks. I don't want to
Yeah.
say I don't want to see the interview on the track as they're climbing out of the car. One,
I
you
don't
got
either.
you got camera people running around a car doing donuts. Someone's gonna get hurt one day.
I could be wrong, but I
Fox
heard the
uses
reason
a
why
drone.
I heard the reason why they have to do that is because the networks only allow them to have so little time after the race to do anything. So they want to get to the driver as soon as possible.
Yeah,
They don't want
I
to do
mean,
victory lane interviews.
TV controls fucking everything now.
And
But it
what
did
you were
kind
talking
of
about.
destroy Kelly Stavis' career, though. If you look at the front stretch interview, I mean, it's not really her fault, but you look at Talladega last year, we haven't seen her since, and
It
you know, a
destroyed
victory
Brandon
lane
Brown's career
interview.
too.
I was gonna say
He's
destroy
out of the
Brandon.
car.
It did. Everybody involved in that situation, yeah.
He doesn't have a ride.
So the one
Yeah,
time
He
a
got
win
fired from his
ever.
dad's
You
team.
know. Ugh.
Now they put fucking Chris Wright in the car. But
Well,
I think
Max, we could talk about the coverage because we could also talk about this TV deal and kind of go deeper into
yeah.
what the hell these teams are.
So
Things
lot
are
of
just not looking
people-
good for the teams.
in the know-how, who know a lot more than I do. And it's kind of been the trend with all major sports lately, is TV is throwing globs of money at them so that they don't go to streaming. And NASCAR is openly considered moving to streaming. So a lot of people in the know-how think that this next TV deal is going to be bigger than the current one that's up. However, the teams do not get a very big portion of that money.
Which is why they don't have a deal yet.
Yes. The tracks get a ton of money and don't do a whole lot with it.
Well, and the thing that doesn't make any sense is why. Okay, that's another thing that doesn't make any sense. If NASCAR owns pretty much all the tracks, I know there's a handful that they don't own, but they own the majority of the tracks ever since that one deal where they bought out most of the track owners.
Yeah.
Why do those tracks get most of the money if it's NASCAR to begin with that owns those tracks and not the teams?
To appease SMI, I'd assume. Which at that point you
Man.
could be like NASCAR, SMI, and the teams get money.
Yeah. You got to do something. I mean, it's just not I think it was actually Junior who, correct me if I'm wrong, was it Junior or somebody who said the NASCAR the way that they do sponsors is kind of dead, like the sponsorship deals and
I
stuff.
think it was Hamlin. I think he was
It may have
talking
been
about
Hamlin.
it with Junior, I think is what it was,
Yeah.
on his podcast.
Well, Hamlin would know. He's
a team owner
Man,
and
he's-
driver, yeah.
yeah. I'm sure he's learned a lot lately.
Yeah, but I think there's a lot of let me preface it by saying this. I don't think the sport's dying like some people do. The NASCAR has actually been, in the last 2-3 years, one of the sports that has been declining the least outside of football. They actually, I know in 2020, they were the only sport outside of football to see a trend upwards in rating. And then all the races that have not been during football season in the last year or two have all been up year over year.
I know it's not by much, but they're still the number one attended sport. Still.
Well, yeah, because I feel like that's like when they're like, oh yeah, NASCAR beat out NBA in viewership. I'm like, well, the games are all split up.
Yeah.
And so you have like all these different games, and each arena holds like 30,000 people. NASCAR, you go to a track, it can hold up to 100,000 people, and it's all there. Everyone's there. It's still one of the bigger sports in America. It's not going anywhere. You can all those fucking doomer Facebook fans that are like, NASCAR is dying. No, it's not.
Well,
Some of the
I
teams
think
might be dying.
how about we acknowledge this? The NASCAR model that made it so successful, how about it's dead? Like it's completely dead and there's no resurrecting it.
NASCAR did not keep up with times changing very well.
Yep.
They've started to in recent years, but it's way too late.
Hmm.
It's not gonna kill it, like I said, but it's done damage.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think what needs to happen, because this TV deal is, a lot of people think it'll be huge, is teams
You know,
definitely need a bigger cut.
I can't help but think. I think we talked about this before, Max, on this podcast. I really do think NASCAR, like you think about in the boom, it wasn't about like people didn't just see it as cars going in circles. It was the storylines, it was the drivers. Like it really was the Gordon Earnhardt thing that just drove that sport to what it was. And I think
Definitely.
in order for you to get that kind of notoriety again, you got to have something that makes people tune in. That's not just cars driving in circles, but
Yeah, and even when
those
stuff
guys.
does start to happen, NBC especially just forces it down your throat, even if it's a non-story, to the point where when something does happen, you're like, I don't fucking care.
Yep.
Like, what?
Mm-hmm.
What did they try to force down throats? Like Elliott versus Larson. Like Elliott was pissed off, and then by the next week, he's like, I shouldn't have let Larson get to my inside. When they were at Auto Club, they got together. They wrecked. Everyone's like, dude, they hate each other. They were hanging out like the next week. They try to manufacture drama so much where I'm like, if you just let it play out naturally, stuff does happen, and it would be way more intriguing if you didn't try to make up some new fucking storyline every week.
Yeah.
But
Man, they would have had something with
Absolutely.
Chastain and
Absolutely.
Hamlin
Yeah.
if Chastain, which we still might. I think we're still talk about this coming week. I think we're going to see something with Chastain and Hamlin. I don't think that's over with yet.
if you can get to the bumper, or if Denny's out of the race, if something happens to Denny and he is not going to advance, or if you can get, because that's still a big if. Goodyear's bringing a new tire that's supposed to wear like crazy,
Hmm. Oh, thank God!
but
It better. It better.
but the big issue at Martinsville especially is the shifting in the corners. Hamlin said you can blow the corner, completely miss it, downshift, and the guy can't even get to your bumper.
Holy
Trying
crap!
to see what was Hamlin. Hamlin put something out today that I thought was really interesting. Um, trying to find it now. It was kind of interesting to hear from Denny Hamlin just with all that he said. It's like, you know, I don't know, just with what he's talked about, the integrity of the sport, this, that, and the other thing. He doesn't like seeing people run over people, but it's like Hamlin put out something that I can't. Oh, here it is. Um, it's going to be a race of bumpers. You know, if I can get to the bumper as somebody for that last spot, I'm going to not, give up on that opportunity. I'll be taking every opportunity I can. I'm sure everybody will, and it's going to be an entertaining race for the fans, if nothing else. And it's
Well,
like,
well, it's
I don't.
you have to play with the
Go ahead, Max.
you have to play with what you're given, and honestly, if you go back and look, Denny's really not a dirty driver like everyone says he is. He's had a couple run-ins, but nothing
No,
like
he's.
egregiously bad outside of like 2 or 3
He,
incidents.
I
He
say
doesn't
even
like to race
Martinsville.
that way, but the way that everything is, it's kind of put him in a box that he has to race that way.
Well, you know when people started to really hate Hamlin?
It was before Chase Elliott.
Yeah, it's when he took the fender off Brad Keselowski when he raced for JRM in 2008 at Charlotte, and Junior came up to his rear bumper and smacked the crap out of it, and then they started to get into it on pit road.
Yes.
That's when the fans started to have, because people loved Denny because Junior was the one that told Joe Gibbs that, hey, I'm racing with this guy on iRacing, and I went to a short track and saw him race, and I think you should take a look at him. That's how he got his start, was because of Junior. So it's like,
you know what I love
he was
about
cool
Denny,
until
though?
that point.
I love that Denny kind of embraces the villain role that he's in.
Man, the problem is that he's such a choke artist that it's painful.
If he,
you want to.
It is. I mean, I'm watching him get his payback on Chastain at Pocono, and then get DQ'd, and it's like, Phoenix.
I still don't even think Pocono was payback. He just didn't lift. That's all. It was.
Yeah, he
Phoenix
didn't give him any room.
Phoenix in 2020, he kind of drunkenly stumbled into the Final Four and was basically a no-show all day long. I mean, last year at Phoenix, he had all this thing about Bowman, the contact at Martinsville, don't poke the bear, you're going to see a new me. And
Denny had crazy long run speed last year, but we never really got that long run he was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And Truex had long run speed, so.
Well, then how about when his crew screwed up at Miami in 2019 and they put all that grill tape on the grill and it overheated and he had to kind of pit road? It's just like, it's one thing after another.
All right, but I was wanting to say something before we got on that little sidetrack about the sponsorship model. I think one thing that needs to happen is you need to give teams a bigger cut of the pie, so sponsorship is not as important. Now, like I said earlier, next gen is supposed to be cheaper in the long run, which, I mean, I would assume Spec Series is cheaper once you have everything. So I would assume it'd be cheaper in the long run, and that's what everyone's saying. If you have that coupled with teams getting more money out of the TV deal, sponsorship won't be nearly as big of an issue.
I think the issue we're facing now is we're kind of going back to the recession in 2008, right? We have obviously, we're having inflation, and that's going to honestly take a huge toll on the teams. We don't really know.
Yeah, NASCAR is one of those
what
sports
to expect.
where if the economy's bad, it affects them a lot, and it's totally out of their control.
Yep. Which is what I think you're also seeing this year as well.
Yeah.
You got to acknowledge it. You don't want to make it as an excuse, but it's definitely a contributing factor.
It's definitely a point. It sounds like you're making up excuses, but it's a point.
Yeah, it plays a major role in their. Well, that's the issue, right? With their sponsor model is the economy really affects the sport, which they really need to be able to kind of survive on their own. But I don't know.
Yeah, that's why. If next gen is cheaper, like everyone says, and teams get a bigger cut of the pie, they'll still get sponsors, obviously, but there could be a point where the sponsor money could even be a little excess. You know what I mean? And that's kind of where you would hope it would be. But nobody, from a company standpoint, you don't get the same return on investment as you did in the 90s. Because like you were saying earlier, you can plaster ads all over social media and it reaches way more people than putting it on the side of a fucking race car. And another issue is people aren't as into motor racing as they used to be.
I wish I could remember where I saw this, but I remember watching an interview. This goes back to the mid-90s. And a driver admitting that he would purposefully crash just to get the sponsor on TV.
That's extreme, but
I remember hearing this, not just crash, but like slow down, do something to get the TV to look at your sponsor on maybe like like the Quick and Shine, like
Yeah.
someone so the Quick and Shine Ford is off the pace. People are like, the heck is Quick and Shine?
Shit. Yeah.
So back then that was huge, but now it's like with social media, you can sponsor yourself
Yeah,
and get
exactly.
tons of people to see your stuff.
Yeah, it is true. Real quick, while we're talking about sponsors, I want to correct myself. A couple weeks ago, I think it was one of my first episodes, I said that Interstate Batteries was leaving Joe Gibbs Racing. I misread that statement, so I was wrong. They were just putting something out where they said, like, thank you to Kyle Busch for all the years. And then
Oh,
they doubled down by confirming that they would be on the 18 car next year, regardless of driver. So that's my bad. I just wanted to go back and correct that.
Dude, I
that's
don't think there's any fucking like news to talk about this week.
Daniel Dye.
Oh yeah, Daniel died. GMS 43. That's.
mhm.
I'm sure we'll hear so much about him throughout the year. I'm sure he'll be a little
It'll
bit
be an
better.
improvement over
I was about to say he'll
over
be a
Jack Wood.
little bit better than Jack Wood.
But
Actually,
Enfinger's
no.
back, so
There is a couple things now that I'm looking at my notes. Yes, so Enfinger's back. Did you guys listen to Marcus Smith on the download?
No, I haven't had a chance yet.
So
did
Marcus
not.
Smith said that they are currently working with iRacing about ideas for a reconfiguration to Texas.
Wait,
Now,
what?
yes, they are
Why would
working.
you work with iRacing on that?
That's what they did with Atlanta. Basically, what they're doing is throwing out ideas. iRacing puts it in, and they're gonna see kind of how
See,
it works.
I think we know where this is going. This literally Texas is
Well,
going to be a super
there's an
speedway.
issue. No, there's something with that though. They cannot go full Atlanta and completely reconfigure it. The most that they can really do is fuck with the banking.
Just turn one and
Kind of.
turn
Well,
two.
there's the condos in 2. They can't fuck with 2 then, and they don't want to do anything to the grandstand. So what most people are thinking is they're just going to add progressive banking, and kind of like
Well,
Miami has.
but in turns one and two, they
It's
widen
like
the track,
80
and that's
feet
what screwed it
fucking
up,
wide.
right?
Yeah.
So could they just shrink that back?
I think they need to
Just put it to
narrow
where it
1
used to
and
be?
2, and then just put progressive banking in.
Yeah, just make it back to where it was before.
Yeah. Well, I think
I honestly don't even know what their idea was with that,
with what
to be
the
perfectly honest.
widening of Texas, I have no
Yeah,
idea, but it's ridiculous.
I
So I saw a lot of people saying make 1 and 2 more narrow, but then add like the 18, 19, 20 degrees of progressive banking, and you can kind of rip the top then too. And it would kind of be like Miami. Not exactly
felt like
like
a
Miami.
homestead.
Yeah. Not exactly because they're still different tracks, not even close looking to each other, but they would have similar banking. I think that would be a great idea. They can't go full Atlanta and turn it into a super speedway. Basically, the front and back stretch cannot change at all, and turn 2 really can't change either. So it'd be kind of 1, 3, and 4. So that's why people are thinking it would just be like messing with the banking and stuff.
Speaking of Miami, could we talk a little bit about why is Miami not the final race
Cause
and Phoenix
I
is?
don't know. I don't think
I
Phoenix
How?
is going to be it for any much longer though. You know what I
I
and
think?
know. I
Miami
know
was the
next year it
perfect
is.
track for a championship.
Well, I'll tell you what I think is going to get the championship next.
I do too. I think I know what you're
Auto
going to
Club.
say.
When they reconfigure
Oh, really?
Auto
The new
Club.
Auto Club? When
When
they
they
reconfigure
reconfigure
it?
it. What were you thinking?
I think it's going to be Daytona.
No.
Oh my
Start with
God.
Daytona, end with
No.
Daytona.
No.
Oh, coming, man.
Hell no.
Austin Dillon, Cup champ,
Steve Phelps,
confirmed, baby.
Steve Phelps mentioned it years ago that would be what he wants. That would be the ideal scenario for what they were
That
wanting.
would be.
Yeah, it sounds like a Steve Phelps thing to say.
You're like already playing with people taking the credibility, when you have a winner take all race. But if you make that Daytona, I mean, even NASCAR fans are gonna throw it out the window.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
No,
agree, which is why I hope they never do that.
I
But
think Auto Club short
I'm not
track.
going to put it past them.
I think Auto Club short track.
Okay, so here's the
I
thing.
mean, we still,
I know that they have talked about it being a short track, but That was supposed to happen next year. What if again they have a great crowd and the next gen does great and they have a great finish and a great
The
race?
track's
Do
coming
you touch
apart.
Auto Club?
Yeah, the track's coming apart.
No.
The track is coming apart. You gonna repave it and
But
wait
you already
15 years like Michigan?
but here's the thing though, you could just repatch it like you did Atlanta because the drivers said they
Yeah,
loved Atlanta.
But
yeah, I mean
eventually,
that is
you do
true.
need
We
a full
saw.
repave. Atlanta needed a full repave, but
It
when
did,
it did, and
but you never know.
I think Auto Club, it's a necessary evil to reconfigure that place because I don't
And
think
it's
they're
supposed to
gonna.
be like a Martinsville, right?
It's supposed to be a mix. It's supposed to be.
Yeah, mix of Bristol and
It's gonna
Martinsville.
be Martinsville with the long straights and really tight corners, but it's gonna be banked like Bristol.
Holy crap, the speeds are going to be outrageous.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
It's
Holy
gonna be like
moly.
one of those little motorcycles
It
when
would
you get
be
in
an
the cage,
awesome
drive up
track.
on the wall. And,
I think I'm all in favor of I like Auto Club a lot, but I think it's just
So,
it's gonna need to be
okay,
repaved, and then it's gonna be like Michigan. You're gonna be like, wow, the racing sucks,
you're
and then it's off the schedule.
to go. Okay, so if you do make it a short track, here's what I want.
Plus
I
the
want it to be a Bristol of the '90s with those real narrow corners,
yeah,
to where you can maybe get three wide,
it's
but don't
base.
make it like Bristol today.
No, it's gonna be Martinsville with Bristol banking.
Man, dude, that would be something. Are they planning on having grandstands surrounding the entire track like a
I
Bristol?
don't know. I know they still want to use the front stretch grandstands when they reconfigure it.
Right.
I don't
That would make
know
sense.
because they've changed a little bit about it. Like the track has never really changed. It's more like the stuff around the track. Plus the land around that track is worth so much goddamn money.
Hmm.
So I think, like I said, I love Auto Club, but I don't think I think it's gonna be one of those. It needs to be repaved, and when they repave it, everyone's gonna be like, "Wow, the racing sucks," and you don't wait.
Well,
I mean, there's a reason every Auto Club highlight is from like 2014 to 2018 or 19.
yeah, I
There's
mean,
a reason all the highlights are from a
I'm gonna
4-year
say
window.
it's aged well, but the problem is it's like the Brickyard really. I mean, once they started playing with that aero package in 2015, the Brickyard got really good, and it's like I'm disappointed that the oval got taken away when it got good, but how long were we gonna have it like that?
Yeah,
With
I
the
think
next gen
mhm.
cars, the racing gonna be the same.
well, they said
It's
they
the
want to
same
they want to
scenario.
go back and forth between the oval and the road course at Indy because they said they will be back at Indy Oval.
Remind me
I say
again
the
of
road course
what
was
Was that?
Steve Phelps said the 2024 schedule. What word did he use about the
Aggressive.
2020?
Aggressive.
Okay, so I want to speculate a little bit on that. What do you guys even think that means?
I think
I heard they wanted
Chicago.
to race in New York City.
Well, here's the thing: is one, they're not going to.
No, they can't.
As someone
They
who,
can't
as
shut
someone,
down New York City. Like,
you can maybe go. You can't even be like, what's it, FE shuts down part of Brooklyn. The Cup is so much bigger. Plus, I think Chicago is already fed up because they got screwed on
I
their deal.
heard.
yeah.
They got like $2 per ticket sale, and that's about it. They got screwed. And if they do go to New York, they're gonna be like the Jets and the Giants. They're gonna race in Jersey.
Yeah.
They're gonna probably, I would think, maybe like crazy thinking is like Hoboken. Realistic is like around MetLife Stadium, like Miami.
But what does that
That's true.
the schedule will be
I have
aggressive
no
like
idea.
to
Maybe Wilkesboro's back on the regular points paying schedule. I have no idea.
but but,
Like I don't even know what
but
more we could do. I mean, there's a fucking dirt race, a race inside a football stadium, a street race in addition to the old NASCAR schedule. Maybe they do
And
an
now
ice
they're
race.
putting the
I don't
freaking
know.
ice race
I
in
was gonna say
there.
maybe we go full NASCAR Euro and we race in fucking like Nova Scotia and do an ice race or something.
My
well, we
roommate's
heard
from Nova Scotia.
didn't we hear though that also that there was a rumor that they were talking about expanding the schedule to the for the first time ever from 36 races to like 40 and then also doing
40.
like two one-offs.
yeah,
Yeah, they would
they did.
do
They were talking
some.
about that.
They were gonna add in some double headers, more races,
When
same amount of weekends.
when someone says when I hear aggressive, that kind of hearing that matches up with the word aggressive.
Yeah, I think
So
the drivers
that
would
wouldn't
not
surprise
be
me.
happy.
Well, here's the thing.
A lot of the
You
drivers
could
already
make
think
this.
it's too long as it is.
Well, but here's the thing. What if they are going to shorten races
I would not be
overall?
opposed. There's a lot
Because
I would
that's the
keep the same,
only
but
thing.
also, yeah.
That's the only thing I could see that what he means by aggressive is the races are shorter. It's a longer schedule, but there's also sprinkled within it. There's going to be date like times off, like a couple bye weeks in there. That's the only thing I could see because I think probably what they're thinking is in order to sustain an audience, we have to shorten the races. We have to go to different places to grab attention to people who haven't seen the sport, and it has to be a longer season because of that. That to me is what I think. And I also think because they're also looking at the age of these drivers and they're like, well, they're all young and they all want to race, so let's do it now.
Yeah.
You'll probably have to back it off as time goes on. But I mean, back when Petty, Yarborough, all those guys in the
they had
60s
like
and
70
70s,
races a year.
yeah,
They
they're
ran
racing
like a
almost today.
World of Outlaws schedule back then. But instead of 30 lap races, it was like 500-mile races. So
I would be okay with 40 races if they shortened. Like, let's say, I mean, you could keep the Daytona 500 the
I'd say
same, like your
Daytona,
Crown Jewels, keep them all the same. Coke 600.
yeah.
Darlington seems to just be falling off because I have no idea what they brought it back in 2015 as the Southern 500, and that was great. And then they stuck it in the playoffs, and now it's just like any other race. It's like, all right, well, you ruined that.
I mean, the racing is still good there. It's got that going for it.
Well, it is, but the thing is just the way that they built the hype up around it now is just like now it's just any other race. It's like, well, good job screwing that up.
It's still the Southern 500, but they moved it and made the other race the throwback race. So the Southern 500 isn't even the throwback race anymore. The sponsors are like, well, we want a regular scheme in the playoffs.
I'll say
it was
this
weird
too.
because
I think. Oh, go ahead, Ryan.
Oh, you're all right, man. Go ahead.
No, I've talked a lot. You go ahead. I'll say something in a minute.
All right. I just said the whole reason it got moved back to Labor Day was the whole throwback appeal, so it just seems weird that.
Mm-hmm. Well,
All
I
right,
think 2020 when they did the thing when they had to do 2 races in March, Darlington was the only track they could do it at. Because correct me if I'm wrong, before 2020, it was just Labor Day weekend, and then they're like, oh, we got to get a race in, so we're going to do 2 races at Darlington, one on Sunday and one on Wednesday or Thursday, whatever it was.
And Bristol, and that was like it. For the first like month and a half they were back. They ran like 3 tracks. They ran like 7 races at like 3 tracks.
Well, that would be the other thing I would think with a 40 race schedule. I would expect so Kansas probably goes down to 1 race, which is probably the playoffs. You're probably going to somewhere where it's normally cold. Switch that up with somebody. I don't know. I just it to me that's just what it. And honestly, that might make the most sense too.
They said if they did that though, there'd be double headers in there. Like to have for like 2 years, and it was a big hit, and then they stopped doing it.
Okay, why? Okay, this is. Why are we still going to poker?
Because it's unique, I guess. I don't know.
Man.
Hey, man, don't you rip on Pocono.
No, you can rip on Pocono. It's not that great.
Man, it's just.
It's got a nice back.
It's different.
I'll give it that.
It's different.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, Ryan. I would love Pocono if they put 800 horsepower back in these cars.
Yeah.
Then it could be like, oh, we're screaming 210 down the front stretch. Man, that's a fast track. Like, if you're just going to go 180, 190, it's like, man, you're not even.
I love how we're talking about 190 like it's fucking.
Yeah. No, but I get what he's saying. I definitely understand. Where he's coming from here. It's
like if everyone but Toyota had their way, it would be 800-900 horsepower.
Oh God!
I know Ford and Chevy want it.
Man, at this point, I'll say this.
Yeah.
I think Toyota is gone in less than 10 years. Honest to God.
I mean,
I really do.
I think the only thing that like JGR is just like running like shit now that I'm looking at it. But I think
Well, they lost their own truck series team with KBM. That's gone.
well they lost that. They never have fucking sponsorship. They cover up the poor management with just signing amazing drivers.
You had
Mm-hmm.
JGR's
I mean
one of the
they run some of their
The
great
name
drivers
of
out.
the
They
year.
lose all their damn prospects.
you had executive from
Yep.
JGR say that he's afraid of what would happen if Joe Gibbs when he retires and
Yeah.
leaves. So yeah, I'd say 10 years, Toyota's gone.
But
Maybe Dodge or Honda or some other
but
series manufacturer enters in, but
2311 seems to be run a lot better.
yeah, but man, I just think that Toyota's probably
Mm-hmm.
at some point just going to be like, we've had enough. There's nothing going on. Like, we're not making any money doing this.
Then
This is
Dodge
pointless.
comes in and the cars go back up to 1,000 horsepower because Dodge will put a
Yeah.
Hellcat in anything it can.
I like that idea. I like where your head's at, Max.
Yeah, put a Hellcat in a minivan. What the fuck was I even about to say? I got distracted by the Hellcat.
I do have a kind of funny story. So I found out today that the Front Row Motorsports number 38 hauler was pulled over in Palmetto Bay at 10:39 p.m. Sunday night for public disturbance. Apparently, there was people waiting outside a private residence. They like line the streets because the haulers come through there on their way away from the racetrack. And apparently, the 38 hauler divvied from the normal route, went down a residential street. There was people lining the road still, and some kid told him to honk. So he honked the horn. Somebody complained it was 10:30 at night. It just so happened that there was a Palmetto Bay police car right there, ready to
Oh,
go.
you
So,
gotta be kidding me.
Oh, God.
yeah, so they were given a $350 fine, and they were
Are you
reported to.
serious? Oh my
Yeah, they were
god.
reported to the DOT and Miami-Dade County authorities and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, some officer just wanted some of his commission or whatever on that one. God.
Just walks up with a brand new Todd Gilliland die case. Y'all got him in there? Can I autograph? No tickets, I swear.
Yeah, not a whole ton to talk about this week, I've noticed, in terms of news.
I think that's okay. I think it's gonna change next week.
Yeah,
Mhm.
this is a nice little. Got a couple non-NASCAR things that we can talk about. Dale Jr. is racing in the Cars Tour. Announced that,
Yep.
and then at night, wasn't announced, but somebody found it online that Jr. and Kelly went and bought the Cars Tour. And then Racetrack Revival going to Pennsboro Speedway. It's on season 2, episode 2 of Lost Speedways. I watched that again today after I saw the news. It's a great episode. That might be my favorite Lost Speedways episode, outside of the one where Junior shows off the racetrack in his backyard.
That's a good
But
one.
yeah, so those both happen. Racetrack Revival is great. I mean, I think it's a great thing they're doing, going to all these abandoned racetracks and bringing them back.
Mm,
So
absolutely.
they got North Wilkesboro back.
I agree,
They're
yeah.
installing safer barriers at Wilkesboro today.
Nice.
Oh, let's talk about the ticket prices for
Yeah,
Wilkesboro. One, I need to know where you're getting your tickets from because these prices you're telling me are insanely cheap compared to what I see.
So my dad and I bought our tickets in 2013 for Watkins Glen. We renewed every year, so we got really good prices on them. But that was the estimate. The estimate I sent you from New Hampshire was from New Hampshire's website. And the Pocono, obviously, Pocono is a independent drag, so you can kind of take their prices with a grain of salt because they don't have to charge as much as, you know what I mean?
Because I'm seeing like the schedule for because you buy the whole weekend. It's actually Tuesday to Sunday is the whole ticket. It's 5 days. 60.
Okay, well, I guess that would be.
And I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow, $2.99 is not a big. That's not a bad price at all for what you're getting. But a lot of people are mad. So it took NASCAR fans like a month to turn on Wilkesboro. I can't wait till Cup goes there and it races like Richmond. That'll really get the fans pissed off. But so you have Tuesday, you get the CRA Super Late Model practice qualifying and feature, and you get the Cars Late Model stock practice. Wednesday, you got Cars Pro Late Model practice qualifying and feature, then the Late Model stock practice qualifying and feature. Thursday, Cup Series Hauler Parade, Wilkes County Fan Fest. Friday, you get Cup practice, truck practice, and a concert, artist to be announced. Saturday, you get truck qualifying and race, Cup Series qualifying, and another concert. And Sunday, you get the Open and the All-Star race for $299. I feel like that's not a bad price at all.
That's a very good price.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's on me for not thinking it was. I didn't even realize how much you really were getting.
Yeah, you're getting
so my bad,
a lot.
guys. That was
You're actually getting more than 3 races because you're getting Pro Late Models, Super Late Models, and then the Late Model stocks, plus truck and Cup.
Yeah.
If you were only wanting to go Sunday, then yeah, it's expensive. But I've also said it's probably going to be one of the most sought after tickets in NASCAR in a long damn time.
That's for sure.
It is like the biggest ticket NASCAR has added to the schedule in a long time.
Yeah, if you're going, rip the traffic into there, man.
Oh my God!
Good luck,
dude. When I went to Racetrack Revival, I went when Junior was racing, and I was like, oh, dude, I think my Airbnb was like 30 minutes from the track, and it took me like 2 hours and 15 minutes to get there, because it is one back ass country road that leads into the track, and that's it. All the parking's there, so isn't a whole lot.
Well,
let's talk about, I don't know, what
who
else
do
you
we
guys
think
wanna
is
talk
going to be
about?
above?
Well, I
Some
could
predictions
say,
for the Final Four.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I think it stays the way it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really tough to bet against Hendrick cars in Martinsville.
You're not going to like me saying this, Max, so I'm sorry from the start.
Hate Byron.
I do hate William Byron.
No, actually,
but I kind of want to.
would not be surprised if Elliott misses the Final Four. I said it here.
That's what I'm saying. I almost kind of would find
Even
it a
though
little
he is insanely good at Martinsville.
He is hella good at Martinsville. He's a really good short track racer.
I think he does
ahead,
make it, but I
John.
wouldn't be surprised if he misses.
I'm gonna say this: Elliott doesn't make it. You know the points system is gonna change because the fans will go irate.
No, you'll have half the fans who will be extremely pissed, and you'll have the other half of fans who were insanely pissed when Harvick missed. They'll be so fucking happy strictly because of who it is.
I wouldn't say half. I'd say 75% is Chase Elliott fans and 25% is just everybody else.
The problem is
each other.
I feel like with Elliott, if you don't like him, you fucking despise him.
The problem with Elliott haters is they make it so known that they hate Chase Elliott that it's everywhere. You know when somebody hates Chase Elliott because they always post the second something goes wrong with him. So I think it's a lot less than people really think. It's just that they're so obnoxious, and so overbearing, and so over the top about it that it seems like it's so much worse than it is. Because I'm not a Hendrick fan, and I can't find a reason to hate Chase. I like Chase Elliott. He's he's one of the last true Southern gentlemen. He's a very talented race car driver. He's worked hard to get where he is, and he's not a dick. A lot of superstars get that way of, whatever. I mean, Jeff Gordon was a very talented race car driver. Jeff Gordon was very tough about signing for the fans and could sometimes come off a little whiny. Maybe he wasn't intending to be that way, and he kind of rubbed people the wrong way. Chase Elliott is he appreciates where he is. I think he's genuinely he feels a lot of appreciation to his fans and to Rick Hendrick, And I think that kind of makes him a very likable driver. I just don't understand why people hate him as much as they do.
Because he's popular.
Yeah, 'cause
yeah,
he wins.
so, but
He's popular and he wins a lot.
Oh, and he drives
he
for
doesn't.
Yeah.
That's true. But yeah, so what I was gonna say is, I kind of want to see Byron knock him out, just because how ironic would it be that Hendrick appealing Byron's penalty would have then knocked out both Larson and Elliott.
No, I honestly, I genuinely believe he makes it. He's above the cut line and he's insane in Martinsville.
Yeah.
And if he didn't lose spots on pit road, he would have led to literally every lap in the Martinsville race earlier this year. But I think
that's the thing is the reason Byron.
Yeah, but Byron was running second all day, and he won the truck race that weekend.
It is true, but
it's tough to bet against Hendrick cars at Martinsville.
Other than Larson,
you know what?
I don't know why.
You know what?
No, Larson's just not good at Martinsville. That's why.
That's his thing. He just struggles there.
Larson's not a great short track racer as it is.
I think
he's not great at Richmond either.
Man, it's tough because one,
it's really hard
can't
to
bet
pass
against
Martinsville now.
Well, that depends on this new tire that they're bringing because you said the Goodyear said it's supposed to wear. We could be then having
also,
tire problems.
Yeah, but also it could be like last race where you completely blow the corner and then just downshift in the fourth. And,
well,
oh boy,
if I remember correctly, it was really cold.
Yes, it was.
What is the temperature supposed to be at Martinsville this week?
Again. I have Martinsville in my
looking right now. Martinsville, Virginia.
In the 50s at race time.
Yep.
Like low 50s at race time. So cold again. Not as cold as the first race, but still cold. I was on my phone going to Martinsville last year. But
what was I gonna say? I think Elliott makes it. You got to look at last year. He was only a handful of points above the cut line. Swept both stages and locked himself in early.
Year before that,
won Martinsville when he needed to. So I think he's definitely going to make it. I think Chastain makes it. If he doesn't get turned, he ran top 10 the whole spring race, qualified top 10.
Yeah, if he doesn't get turned, he'll be fine.
And then I think I want to see Hamlin outpoint Byron. Don't want to see Byron make it. I have a hard time seeing Hamlin outdo Byron.
I mean, you got
Which
now.
is crazy because that's Martinsville, and Denny Hamlin at Martinsville.
I was about to say, right now, your cut line is basically 3 of the best at Martinsville right now.
But Hamlin was just a no-show in the spring.
That's true.
Didn't qualify well and did not run well. I mean, he did win Richmond via fuel strategy, but second Richmond, he was not a factor for the lead. I mean, he was top 10, but top 10 is not going to get you in the Final Four this weekend.
It's really going to matter on where you qualify this weekend.
So, unless Hamlin can unload from the truck real easy and real good, I think it's Byron all day long. As much as that pains me to say, I think Byron's going to get into the Final Four.
Yeah, I think it stays exactly the same.
Yeah, I think so too.
Well, we got Halloween on Monday, so it wouldn't surprise me if we have a nightmare type scenario where things just go haywire and things are just out of control.
Chase Briscoe wins Martinsville. I'm calling it right now.
Oh, God.
Briscoe wins Martinsville, knocks Elliott out. There you go.
I can already see the walk-off. Oh, God. Blaney outpoints Byron and Elliott too.
Let's do this. Here's a painful scenario. The Chase does not make the Final Four. Ryan Blaney does. Ryan Blaney goes and finishes second at Phoenix and wins the championship.
Finishes second to Larson, and the 5 wins the owner's title.
Oh my God!
then you really would be like, everyone would be like, all right, scrap this playoff system. This
Yeah,
thing's
we
a
got to
joke.
do something.
That
like,
would encapsulate like
this is
20.
bad.
That would encapsulate the 2022 season perfectly, though.
No, what would encapsulate the 2022 season is Chase Briscoe winning a championship.
No,
Oh,
it'd
for
be no,
heaven's
because
sake.
Briscoe has a win on the year. It'd be Blaney.
That is true.
It'd be Blaney winning while finishing second to
It is at
Larson.
Phoenix.
Because the 12 never made the 12 never made the owners playoffs. So he'd finish 17th in the owners championship, win the drivers championship. So we get
Then you
Yeah.
really would prove that the championship is just absolutely pointless
Yeah.
at that point. Like you really would. That would really define where NASCAR is. That the championship is absolutely pointless.
oh god, it's none. Listen, it's gonna stay the same, and it's gonna be like fucking Logano's gonna win or some dumb shit, and I'd be like, wow, I just wasted 8 months of my life. No, even more, like 9-10 months of my life just to watch Joey fucking Logano win a championship.
That or Logano and Chastain are going to take themselves out. And
Oh, if those guys are near each other at the end of Phoenix, they're not finishing the race.
I was going to say, they're going
They're
to
not
piss pound
finishing.
each other around. And
All right.
oh,
Well,
boy.
oh, real quick, we are 3 diecast people, and we have not talked about diecast yet on here. So I want to talk about a few things. I saw a lot of people complaining about diecast not meeting MOQ and saying it was Lionel's fault, and I'm like, that means you didn't pre-order it.
It's not really on Lionel.
They're like, why does MOQ exist? Old other companies didn't have MOQ, and I'm like, yeah, how many of them are still in business?
Well, that was back in the days when they made, I don't know, 700,000 of each piece, too.
Holy crap! I remember those days.
Dude, I got a Kevin LePage Redman chewing tobacco Bush series car, and it was like, yeah, one of 20,000. I'm like, what the fuck?
I have the junior Talladega win of 01, I believe, is like 100,000 produced, which is why it's not worth crap.
I have Dale Jr.'s 04 Daytona 500 win. I want to say it was one of like 182,000 made or something like that.
I want to know how many of that were produced, because it's such a random car, and there were so many produced.
That's when they were producing every. The thing that did not make any sense about back then is they would produce every car ever run on the track, except you would hardly get a race to win. It wasn't like till 2003, 2004. They were like, oh, people want these.
And
What
I
a
feel like
concept.
it wasn't really until like Lionel started taking over that they got offered for every race.
Well, I think
Mm-hmm. 07 was the first year.
Weren't they more sporadic back then with how they were offered?
Well, I think 07 they
Yeah, they
produced
were
like
all-
every race win, except for a few drivers.
07 was the first year because they made every single win from Dual 1 to Miami in 1/64 scale.
Yep.
And I want to say they made almost every win in 1/24 too, and that was the first year they had made so many. Because 06 they made, all the Crown. No, they didn't even make the World 600. They made Johnson's Brickyard and Johnson's Daytona. They made Harvick's Richmond, and I think that was it. Junior's Richmond, maybe.
They made Gordon's Chicago,
They
and they
made
did like a
ones-
DuPont Sonoma thing that's worth like $1,200 to $2,500 now.
I say that Sonoma win is hard to find.
They made ones that they knew were gonna sell.
Yep.
Yes.
It's not like now where they
Not even-
offered everything. But
But
what else? Lionel is also gonna start making fucking sprint cars.
Oh
Mhm.
God!
Yeah.
Stay away! Stay away!
Here's the thing about that is it's not gonna be nearly as good as the Acme cars are. However,
Not even close.
it's also a third of the price. They're gonna be $60 when the Acme cars are like $140, and they're doing raced versions of sprint cars. That's the only thing I'm a little excited about is the Acme sprint cars. They only like offer a couple. Did you see they're offering the push truck, the World of Outlaws?
I am gonna need So I'm building a 1984 GMC model kit. Now I'm a little mad they're offering that because I was
Well,
building mine as a push truck, but it's that's obviously sarcasm because I'm pretty excited they're making something like that.
now you guys know that back in the early 2000s, I believe, and even actually into the late 90s, Motorsports Authentics, known as Action, they were making World of Outlaws, midgets. They were
I've
making
only seen like
dirt modifies,
I've only seen a
and
couple
then
of them.
so if
I've
I
seen
went
like the
to this,
Casey Kane and Tony Stewart Chili Bowl cars.
I was
oh
saying, maybe
no,
they made the
dude,
Keenan
I
one.
have I have a Steve Kinzer Quaker State green Action that they made in the late 90s. They made some Tony Stewart's, they made some Donnie Schatz, they made all of Gordon's sprint cars, of course.
Well, they're starting to do those
Um,
again now. They're offering midgets again.
well, and the other thing too is that they also offered, man, what is that one modified? Why can't I remember the name of it right now? Clint Boyer used to race them. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Those big old
P
modifieds.
Oh,
modifieds. Is that what you're talking
super
about?
modifieds.
Yeah, it's the ones that they also race for the Prelude.
Didn't I thought they did?
Oh,
I
late
thought they did
models.
late models in the Prelude.
I was saying, I thought those were late
Are you
models.
talking about the
Yeah, I
UMP
think you're right.
modifieds or?
Yeah, it would be those. They made a bunch of those for so many different drivers in the late 90s, early 2000s. So I imagine Lionel probably still has those molds from since they purchased Motorsports
That's
Authentics. They
true, but
have all those molds,
they've
all
also
those sprint car
changed.
molds, man. Oh yeah, but they have all those molds, and you know that because you'll see those like the 90s and Monte Carlos that they'll make
Mm,
randomly.
yeah. So
So yeah,
yeah. Well, now
I don't know.
Acme is releasing or offering a lot of midgets and stuff. Like I know they're doing Buddy Kofoid's, Taylor Reimers, Chase Elliott's, Kyle Larson's, a couple other
Well,
people's.
the really cool thing that you posted was the pickup truck pushing
The push truck,
one of
yeah.
the cars. How much is that for that whole
Mm-hmm.
set?
It's
You
like
know,
120, I think.
that is so freaking cheap.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Well, you
I
get you
do
just get the
have
push
some,
truck. You don't get the damn sprint car.
I
That's
do have
Oh
some
another
man.
sad
120.
news. Speaking of diecast, I was really hoping they would make an exception for this one. Unfortunately, Mars has not approved the Final Ride or Halloween Next Gen diecast. I was really hoping they would approve the Final Ride one with all the photos. I was hoping they'd make that last exception. I kind of wanted one, but fortunately, Lionel reached out. They were not approved.
That's another thing people don't get when they shit on Lionel. Is like, why didn't you offer this? I'm like, we didn't get approved to. And people just like have trouble grasping that.
Yeah, people are really like I'm in a group with a lot of Kyle Busch fans on Instagram, and they're absolutely heartbroken the fact that one of their favorite drivers they've seen racing at 18 their entire life, like literally won't get offered. So, I mean, as a custom guy, I'll probably do a
I was about to
couple
say you're gonna
for
be
those
all
that
over it
want
then.
So you're gonna
to.
get you're gonna get a lot of business from that.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll probably offer that for them just so they can have that in their collection. Yeah, it sucks, but yeah, Max, you're absolutely right. It has nothing to do with Lionel. It has everything to do with just they're not.
There's
That
a
was the thing about the Jordan brand car that people were worried about with Kansas, and so was Lionel. Was they weren't sure if Nike and the Jordan
they
brand
were trying, and like
going to give
Nike
them
wasn't
permission.
gonna at first. Same with the Gravedigger one. They were trying hard to, and they weren't getting permission. And eventually,
Hmm.
they convinced them to.
Hmm.
There's a lot to shit on Lionel for. Wave
That's not one
four,
of the things.
Wave four still being on a boat off the coast of Hilton Head is not one of them.
See that they announced what the
They
some of the cars from
Yeah,
Wave
they leaked
4.
what some of the wave is, but they don't have pictures of them because the cars are still on
But
the boat.
I'm a little
So
disappointed. They did say that the Harrison Burton Motorcraft car is going to have a tan number, and I'm just a little disappointed. That's one that I really wanted. It's dried up a little bit, and I get it.
Does
The foil cars went up in the Gold Series, but it's like I don't know. It just disappoints
does the
me.
regular 164 have the foil number, or is it just the?
Yeah,
Authentic.
the regular one has. Same with the Bell Dual.
Yeah.
Had chrome numbers, and then the
Well,
Authentics
the
just
Authentics
red.
are fucking cheap.
I know. That's
did any
because
of you
the
guys
foil number. Go ahead, Sean. Sorry.
no, you're good. Did any of you guys get the second or third wave, I think it was, for the next gens from NASCAR Authentics?
I saw them on the shelves, but I never picked them up.
I have a couple Wave 2s of the next gens right here. I probably have Wave 3 too because I picked them up when I went to Charlotte.
So the one thing that I noticed about the ones that you get like at Walmart and Target is, for whatever reason, so they like shrunk, and instead of like going in and making an edit and editing like and building a whole or designing a whole thing for that specific scale, they took the 124 scale and just made it to the size, and it pixelated a bunch of stuff. If you look like at this Kyle Larson one, it looks just absolutely atrocious. I mean, this is like, if I were to, like, when you go to, as a custom guy, if you go to Hobby Lobby, they have like print your own, like, it's decal paper where you can use a inkjet printer and print your own decals.
A little bit here and there, yeah.
Yeah, that's what the equivalent of what this is right here. Like, it's so fuzzy and pixelated. It's like, that's not even worth $5 at that point.
I got lucky.
But that's them trying to save money.
I walked into Walmart on my way home from work. I had to pick up, I don't even remember, something dumb. I found the Harvick Hunt Brothers liquid color.
I've never found.
Oh, nice.
I'm really excited to have it. But I'm looking at it, and it's pixelated. I mean, it looks rough.
Yeah.
If it wasn't a liquid color, I wouldn't have picked it up.
I pick them up because I like displaying the packaging more than the cars in the packaging.
Do you guys? I don't forget how old you guys are. I'm old. Do you guys remember when they made Elite 164 scale?
A little bit, yeah.
I wasn't collecting back then, but I have a couple of them.
Yeah.
I played with those and beat those little shit.
That just really tells you how marketable that sport was when they were making 164 scales.
I'm collecting some of the old Motorsports Authentics ones right now. The Casey Mears 07 Busch cars with the National Guard. It's the same fucking paint scheme, but there's 24 of them.
My God.
Oh, because is there different sponsors on the side or something?
It's different, like, infantry brigades and shit in the National Guard.
Oh, yeah.
But there's 20, and I want to collect them because it's when Mears was in the 24 in the Busch series. Last year they ran in that series before they ran the 17 this year. But, like, there's like 24 of them, so I got like 8. And my friend walked in my room, and he's like, "Why do you have 8 of the same car?" I'm like, "No, if you look closer, they're different." I got 3 fucking cases. One is just all Larson, Byron. Everyone who's ran a HendrickCars.com scheme is in that one case. The next case.
Remember you told me that you were getting all the Hendrick cars.
Then the next case is the damn Casey Mears National Guards, and then it's the Noah Gragson Bass Pro cars. I got 3 cases and 3 paint schemes.
3 paint schemes. Oh.
Someone walks over like, you have, what is that, 24, 48, what is that, 72? Oh, you have 72 of the same car. I'm like, I swear to you, they're all different.
Hey, get ready for all those Chase Elliott ones where they have, instead of Napa Auto Parts on the side, they got Valvoline and then the whatever.
So
all
I
those
was
are.
looking, I counted this year, including the Pocono win that you're making me. And I found it on eBay, and I bid on it, and I won it at like the minimum bid. It was like a Texas All-Star Race custom. Not including those.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so we'll not include those. We'll just include the production ones. 11 different die-casts of that paint scheme this year, including race wins, because that's the only scheme he's run a race in.
Crap.
That's the only scheme he's won a race in this year. And then
Which is weird, because he used to never win the Napa car.
No, he didn't. Well, except for 2020. He won quite a few.
In 2020, he won a lot.
He won 4 out of his 6 wins in the Napa car. One in Kelly Blue.
God, he won the All-Star race that year.
In the Universe with the backwards numbers.
I was thinking, wait a minute, 6th, and I was like, oh yeah, the All-Star race.
Yeah. I have it's cool. I
have an All-Star race.
I have the Universe All-Star car, then the regular Universe car, and then this year's Universe car. You get all 3 number placements right next to each other.
I was gonna say with 3 different number placements.
Yep.
That's neat. I think next year with the price increase, it's gonna be hard for me to buy. Obviously with me being a college kid, anyways, it's tough. But
now.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I'll. The trucks, Xfinity, it's gonna be hard to justify $75 a piece.
Just especially do what I do, and you know the thing is too is I'm like I don't need these. I'm like I could, especially now that like I'm like you could do these custom for like way cheaper.
I'm telling you, man, it's not good. It's not good.
I know, but I'm still like we were talking about the other day. I'm still a fucking purist when it comes to ones that were produced. I'm like, no, I want the production one because I'll know it's not the real one.
I found out that
I pre-order every JRM car autographed because it's like $5 extra to get them autographed.
Yeah, Dale's really good about that.
His autographed diecasts are like $5 more, so I'm like, all right, I'll get every JRM car autographed. I have like every Noah Gragson win autographed.
I'm gonna say, I found that you can wait, a little bit, and if you're willing to wait, you can find, what you're looking for a price you're looking for. Like earlier this year, I told you guys about that Harvick score I had. I didn't tell you about my absolute greatest score of all time. AC Kane's 2012 Coca-Cola 600, $45 shipped.
That's not bad at all. You want to hear a score right here? Elliott's first truck win for $170.
That's really not bad at all.
That is insane.
I had a friend of mine just bought Brad Keselowski's Indianapolis race win autographed for $50.
Does he want Brad's Kansas win? Someone sent me one time. I have no idea how I got it, and I've been trying to sell it.
No, I'm sorry I didn't buy it.
I don't know. I just got a package one day, and it's like, here's your Brad Keselowski Kansas win. I'm like, I didn't buy this. What the fuck? I guess I won it in a giveaway or something. I'm like, I don't want this.
The one from 2019?
Yeah, the Worth one.
I think, man, I don't know. I got some good, gotten some good deals. And it's, I don't know. The Gordon White Ice Nicorette car, because that's just such a beautiful paint scheme. I don't know. Because that was super, super cheap. I don't know why Goodwill doesn't know what stuff. Well, that's a whole other conversation. I won't go to that. That's
don't talk
me
about
off
that.
What you're doing, man. I had a buddy of mine who I'm really good friends with, who I made a couple customs for, and then he was just like, "I got all of these cars. I don't want anything. I don't want them. Do you want them? And then you can do a couple customs for me." So I did a Transformer car for him, and then the Charlotte, the Jurassic Ride race win for him, and then also let go of my. I did a Gordon 09 Texas win with the brush metal National Guard because the real one looks like absolute crap with the freaking off-white nonsense that Lionel produced. But I also have Brad's Kansas win, but it's the Elite Liquid Color Chrome, one of 49. And then the other one, of course, probably one of my favorites, but I'm letting it go because I just need the money. I'm just trying to sell it right now. Ryan was actually asking about it. That's Brad's Elite Darlington from 2018 race win.
I'll tell you what,
Which that car that he's got for sale, that Brad Elite, it's a little out of my price range, but you're never going to find another one for what he's asking for that one.
Yeah.
Whoever gets that freaking...
You'll get some business from me soon, because like I'm gonna do all the custom Elliott like Xfinity cars and shit. But I don't think I could. I think if I tried to do a late model custom, it would look like absolute dog shit.
Oh, that was the thing I was gonna let you guys know is that I the same guy that makes the SRX models is making the correct late model Camaros. So I'll be doing junior. Someone reached out to me to do juniors North Wilkesboro. So I'll be doing that.
I'd kill for a race
And
version of that. That would be sick.
that's what I'm doing for him. He specifically asked for a race version, so I'll be doing. If you want one, you definitely
Dude, I might,
work
because
something out to do that.
I was at that. Damn, I got like a lot of shit I've been asking you to do, and you already have like 5 for me.
Yeah, man, it's
I can't wait to get a
It's
box
a lot,
one
but-
day with all the shit that I've asked you to do. He has cars for me, like, cause I keep telling him, I'm like, just ship it when they're all done, and then I'll order another one. Dude, I think
He's
it
like,
goes
well,
back to like
yeah,
June. It goes back to like June with like the Harvick Roval race version.
Yep.
I think I bought that
Yep.
in like June or July, and I'm like, nah, just wait
Yeah.
till they're all done.
Do me a favor, warn me before you post that one. It was a painful day.
I'll post it with my Elliott Roval race version. Don't worry.
I'm gonna say it's like watching him, and I'm like, what the hell is he doing? Then I was like, well,
What do I even
can't
have?
really defend this one.
What
Yeah.
do I even have coming from you? I have Elliott
You have.
Pocono.
I can tell you what you have:
2
Elliott Autograph
SRX.
Pocono Elite, 2 SRX, the Harvick one.
I feel like there was one more, but I
There's
don't remember.
there's one more. It's something from this year. What is it,
Dude, I don't remember.
dude? It's drawing a freaking blank.
I
You got the 2
know there was
SRX wins.
one more.
There is, but I can't. I got it written down somewhere. I keep track
Somewhere.
of all this stuff. I don't even. Yeah, it's.
That was the other one I stole. Was I got Larson's 2021 standard for $35.
That's,
I don't know.
You know, I don't know
Right
why
place,
those were
right time.
selling.
Yeah.
I don't know why those were selling for like $240 at one point, but now they're everywhere and they don't sell for any more than $60.
No,
I got
I just like.
that one for like the regular price when it was selling for $200. Then it went back down to the fucking regular price.
Say it's really not anywhere near. Well, I think you gotta remember is they released those like Circle B exclusive Galaxy Flash Coat, like all those
Yeah.
different versions of it,
I'm
and
not
so
a huge
people.
fan of the what's it called? I'm not a huge fan of the special finishes.
No, there's a couple I have, but I'm not real big into it. I have one from like 2005. It's Kevin Harvick's Good Wrench Daytona. And back then, the black chrome on that card looks like reflective chrome. Like it's like a almost mirror finish compared to nowadays. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it pops. Because I normally don't like black color chrome or black liquid color, but it really pops.
I love how we've been talking for over. We're getting close to 2 hours, guys.
Hour 27.
I love
is
Jeez.
what we're at.
hour 27. I thought we started at 7:30.
No, we started a
Started
little
a
late.
little
'Cause
late.
remember,
Did we?
we were gonna start, and then we started bullshitting.
Oh, okay.
Talking about, I don't
We're
even
still
remember.
We're still bullshitting. I'm thinking like, man, we could have ended this podcast a long time ago. Just be talking off.
Yeah, we're still bullshitting. We're just recording.
Yeah,
it now,
honestly, yeah. You know what? Fuck this.
I'll have to cut a little bit of this.
Yeah, you know what? I'll end it here. We can keep talking, but I'll end it here.
Yeah.
I don't want to make this too long. All right, thank you guys for watching. Tune in next
Thank
week.
you guys so much.
Hopefully more happens during the week, so it doesn't just
Yes.
turn into us talking about diecast
Oh.
for 40 minutes.
Someone
It's
signed
gonna happen.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, someone do something. Hopefully Martinsville is more exciting than Miami was. Miami was a great race, but it was
Yeah.
boring. All right, well,
All right.
y'all have
Cool.
a good one.